everybody. This is J Squared News.
With your hosts, John and John.
Okay, now let's hear the news.
Our first story tonight deals with limited government and comes out of Oklahoma, where Richard Glossip killed his employer and was sentenced to death by lethal injection. Now, while awaiting his execution, Glossip's lawyers discovered new evidence that may have led to his exoneration.
Now, this is a good example of our limited government, as when Glossip's lawyers found this evidence, it protected him from the state's death penalty and allowing him a new trial. So recently, Republican lawmakers have been trying a number of political tactics in order to prevent Barack Obama from continuing with his Iran deal.
Now, this news story is a good example of checks and balances due to our executive branch pushing for an Iran deal where the Republican congressmen are attempting to see if this is a constitutional move or not on his part.
And now with Brady Hansen, our man on the ground.
Hello, as I said, my name is Brady Hansen. I'm here on this beautiful night in Connecticut where they have just deemed the death penalty unconstitutional, saving the lives of 15 or more death penalty individuals. Alright, this is an example of dual federalism. So, what is your take on it?
Well, I think this is a perfect example of dual federalism because as it is illegal in Connecticut to perform the death penalty, it is still legal throughout the entire United States, and it is up to a state's discretion to ban it.
All right, we're back in studio. That was good stuff from Brady, out in Connecticut. We'll be back with you in a few short moments here. Enjoy the commercials.
Hello, this is Jacob Marlowe with today's public service announcement regarding Barack Obama and his Iran deal. The big idea behind the Iran deal is to sanction against anti-Semitic and anti-Western Iranian organizations, which, of course, has received lots of blowback from American politicians. That is all for today.
So as we all know, there's an upcoming election, and I'm sure a lot of people will be turning up to the polls this year to vote for their presidential candidate, one of which is Donald Trump, and actually recently, throughout the past few months, he's been dropping in the polls despite having such a strong lead early on.
Now, this story is a good example of popular sovereignty because it allows the people the right to elect the president, which gives the people the right to rule the country.
Good job. Beautiful. And once again, we'll be hitting the streets with our informant, Brady Hansen, who's going to be giving us some live reports on some people's opinion on Trump.
Alright, I'm Brady and I'm the man on the street. Sir, are you voting for Donald Trump as president in 2016?
No.
What?
No.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Donald Trump is down in the polls. Hello, sir. What is your view on Donald Trump for president in 2016?
I'm not gonna vote for him.
And why not?
He's a toupee.
Alright, here we go. Our last person. Sir, what is your view for Donald Trump, president 2016?
I honestly think that Donald Trump should and will be the next president of the
And
United
why
States.
is that, sir?
Well, I think he has all of his priorities set straight. With immigration reforms, I think it'll really help with the regulations and helping out with all of, I don't want to say burdens, that's just too flashy, but we'll put it that way.
Now back to you, studio.
And that was a beautiful example of popular sovereignty in this country. So, Walker, what is your opinion on Donald Trump?
I honestly do not think that he will be a great president for our country. I believe that Hillary will take the polls and, she'll be our next leader. It'll be great.
Beautiful. I personally am not voting for Trump, and that just shows how much power we have together. Power sovereignty. Breaking news. A federal judge in Los Angeles just recently claimed that the recording company that had been collecting royalties from the Happy Birthday song no longer holds a valid claim against it, making the Happy Birthday song public domain.
Now, this story is a good example of separation of powers, as it is the judicial branch's job to determine if something is legal or not, such as copyright infringements.
All right, we're going to actually go over a quick review of everything we've gone over today in today's news. We went over limited government, which means even the government has to follow the laws and is subject to its rules. We got checks and balances, which is every branch ensuring that every other branch doesn't step out of its power and boundaries. And then we got separation of powers, which means every single branch of our government has its own little rules and doodads and jobs that it does.
We also went over judicial review, which is the Supreme Court can only determine what is constitutional or not. We went over federalism, which is the powers divided between the cooperation of federal and state legislators. And we also went over popular sovereignty, which is the people rule.
This was J Squared News. Thank you for watching.
And we are out of here!